Hi, I'm Nate, this is Matt, and we're here to make pupusas.
Pupusas are a traditional Salvadoran dish that is made of homemade corn tortilla with masa de maize. Pupusas were first created by the Pipil tribe, who lives in the territory now known as El Salvador, and tools to prepare pupusas were found in Olla de Seren.
Olla de Seren, also known as El Salvador's Bambay, is a native village that was buried in ashes from a volcano explosion.
Other cooking tools were found in other archaeologic sites around El Salvador.
In the late 1940s, pupusas were not widespread across El Salvador, but were mostly localized in central towns.
When the population began to migrate in the 1960s, pupusa stands became popular in the neighboring areas such as Honduras and Guatemala.
The pupusas from other countries sometimes varied in size, or the filling was different.
Pupusas with a half-moon shape were common in Guatemala. In east of the Lempa River, they usually serve pupusas with a larger diameter.
In the 1980s, the Salvadorian Civil War forced a Salvadorian migration to other countries.
The main country they migrated to was the U.S.
Pupusas then became available outside the country, and wherever the Salvadoran community was found, you can find pupusas.
Now, the ingredients you are going to need for making pupusas would first be 0.71 liters of masa de maize, which is corn flour. Next, you are going to need 0.35 liters of el agua, water. Next, you are going to need 0.24 liters of el queso, cheese. Now, most preferably, the cheese you want to use is Salvadorian cheese, but this is a great substitute.
Now it is time to make the dough. First we add the masa de maize, and then the water.
And it is optional to add half a teaspoon of salt. Now, we mix. Now technically, we are making a saturated solution. Add water as necessary to make the dough soft.
YOLO.
Yeah, your hands.
YOLO.
Now, it is more preferably to use a batter, but since we are at a lack of utensils, we're going to use our hands.
Too much swag for this YOLO.
Now, let the dough rest with plastic covering on for 15 minutes. Okay, now begin the 15 minutes.
So, now after the 15 minutes is done, we are going to uncover the dough. We are going to put it into 6 balls. Oh, shoot. Okay. Okay, now after you've made 6 balls of dough, you're going to want to make an indentation in each ball. For now, I'm just going to use a chopstick. YOLO. And you're going to put in your filling, which is your cheese. You don't want to push that in there. Push that in. Push that in. Push that in. Some more in. Some more. Put it in so that none of the filling is showing. And flatten. Make sure none of the filling comes out as you flatten the dough. Okay, now let's heat up the stove to high. Pour slightly some oil into the pan. There we go. Maybe a little bit too much, but that's okay. Now, you want to mix the oil around Now that the skillet is heated up, put the pupusa on. Cook 1 to 2 minutes or unto brown. Now be careful, as the oil will splatter. Now, flip. Ah! Now you see it is a rather hard, brownish yellow color. That's the way you're gonna want it to be.
Is it? Now make the rest of them.
Now, let's make the rest of them.
Now that we have finished our pupusas, we are now going to let it cool off so it's not too hot for us to heat. It is going to conduct its heat, and it's going to transfer by conduction into the air. But air is a poor conductor of heat, so it'll take a while.
Let's eat some of our pupusas.